All right, so I'm making a video right now on this video I watched today. It's about your second brain, and you might be wondering what a second brain is. Well, it's kind of a operating system for tracking ideas and managing your life, managing your business. Well, it's something I kind of already do, and you may do it already. If you've ever written a note on an app, or you get a good idea, you open Evernote, or you open up Apple Notes, or you open up Notion, which just seems to be all the rage now. That is what you use to track everything that you do, or thoughts and ideas that you want to save for later. And I took notes on it, and part of what I'm doing is just kind of wanting to distill what I learned and what I took notes on, so that way I can implement it in my life and also get more from myself. So what's the first thing that you need to do to organize your life, or just really, because the thing is, have you ever got an idea and something that you wanted to do, but then you just weren't able to go back to it? You get tons of ideas, but of course we generally get more ideas if you're the creative type that is ambitious and entrepreneurial, or just a general creative of some kind. You just have more ideas than you can act on, and sometimes you want to reference a lot of it, and that's kind of what this system does. It seems to be, anyway, and I like it a lot. So essentially what you do is you're creating this sort of second brain. It's a system. It's a system for yourself to figure out what it is that resonates with you. So the first step is the most important step, and it's kind of obvious. What you do is you identify the most important inputs. What are the most important inputs? Things from email, things from podcasts, things from books, things from conversations, chat messages, articles, PDFs, blogs, movies, whatever, right? And you just write them on a note. So this is essentially what you do. You're trying to figure out what is most important to you. He calls it what resonates. You're capturing what resonates. That's step one. You identify it. Step two is essentially you capture it. It's called quick capture. You create this special note inside your phone or whatever you're using, and you create a list of all the things that matter to you. You write it down. But here's the thing: don't respond. I don't know if you have ever opened YouTube. Let me just show you. When I open YouTube right now, I always just first thing in the morning. But one of the things I do in the morning is I open YouTube and I just look at the first thing that pops up. And in this case, it's a Graham Stephan video, right? And it's either interesting to me or it's not. And a lot of the time, I would say probably about 40% of the time I play it. 60% of the time I usually do. If I find it interesting, I'll click here and I'll save later. Essentially, I already do a lot of this, and you're just save. I don't know if you're a save it later aholic, where you just save a bunch of stuff and you don't even do anything. You basically don't watch it again. But this is what this does. You just save it for later. But there are things that I get from messages, from work, from business, from staff, from partners, or whatever, and they need me to do something, or I need to do something for them. I sometimes want to immediately act on it, because I'm definitely just more of an action taker. So instead, what you're supposed to do with this step two here is quick capture. What you do is you take the thing that, whether it be a piece of content you want to consume or a task that you need to do, and you put them on a list in your quick capture note. That's what this is. And what you're doing during this process, this step two, is you're trying to flex your noticing muscle. You're just essentially noticing things about what resonates with you. The key thing is just not to act on it, right? Because it's just a lot of it's just being able to have intention, and you're essentially trying to teach your brain, your mind, and create a system for organizing data in a more productive way. And step three, that's actually what this is: reframe. Reframe things. So generally, there are things that happen when you make this list of things you do all day, right? There's number one, tasks. Two, things to read or watch later, which I kind of described earlier. Then we have projects, right? And then we have areas like resources, archives. So I'll put that video if you're interested in kind of learning more about this, I'll put that video in the description, because I just thought it was useful. Most of the reason why I'm making this video in the first place is because I just want to remember it. When I teach something, I remember it better. And he calls these categories of intention, right? And then what you do here is there's a bunch of mini steps, which I'm going to go over, which is the first thing you do out of all the things that you've written down for the day. I guess you do this at the end of the day, is you take all the tasks, things that require a specific action of some kind. Once you take a specific action of some kind, you have a task, because these are things that require you to do something. Next are read or watch later, right? Things to consume later. That's basically, you move all that into one category. The next is projects. This is the big stuff. I have a couple big projects that are kind of sub things inside my business that require multiple steps and multiple people to work on, right? And then there's 3E, which is areas. So areas are kind of There's no specific deadline. It's not something that's like super ambitious. Maybe it is ambitious, but it's like stuff about your relationship, stuff with your kids, stuff with your family, stuff about your health. Maybe there are deadlines, but it's more like things that you just want to work on a regular basis, but they're not like you should always work on them, I guess is what it is. The next thing is resources. Resources. What resources? I mean, it just sounds like what it is. References. And then 3G here, archives. Not relevant or important. So, I don't know. I guess it's just kind of like an all-in bucket. Okay, so now, got the shades on. Casey Neistat style here. And last but not least, number 4, begin a daily practice of reviewing all this stuff. The first thing you do is you, of course, capture all your notes, right? Number 2 is you review the task, what's important for the day. Those are things you need to act on right away. And number 3, once a week, you review projects and areas. And that's pretty much it. I think more than anything, like the core of how all this works is just being able to notice what it is important to you. What the incoming stuff, like all the stuff that's incoming. Podcasts, videos, YouTube, movies, conversations, phone calls, ideas, whatever comes to your head, right? And you just got to put them on the paper before you act on them. And then you categorize them. So we're going to see if this works. This could just be a spur of the moment video where I'm really interested in it. But again, part of the reason why I'm making this video is just so I'm interested. So, thanks for watching.